Audacious rebel.
You know, I had an experience recently which helped reinforce a principle that I knew but haven't fully actualized. You know, sometimes cognitively you know something, but that doesn't mean to say you're that. All of our life, our existence are governed by laws or principles, and ignorance of these laws does not nullify its effect. You ever notice how things in life follow repeated patterns? Like there's a code written in nature and into all of us. You see, we are not just in the universe, we are part and parcel of it. So all that happens in the cosmos also happens with us. When you understand laws like the law of correspondence, which states that as above, so below, as within, so without, meaning what happens in one realm, physical, spiritual, emotional, is mirrored in other realms. For something to rise, something has to fall. It's like a fruit drops from a tree, it rots, but inside that rot is the core, the seed. And from that seed, a whole new tree emerges. And so, even in what looks like decay and rot, there's life waiting to emerge from it. And the same thing happens spiritually. Before the sun rises, it first has to set. The word sun, from the Latin word sol, and this is the prefix for words like solar and solstice. And if you really scrutinize the word sol, you would hear the phonetic similarity with the word soul, sol, soul, sol, soul. Biologically, we are aware of the region in our body known as the solar plexus. So the solar plexus. This is where willpower, confidence, and the inner light reside. Then there's a scripture, I think it's in Genesis, which states that the light shineth in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. And there are many other scriptures that alludes to the same thing. Again, we see the principle, as above, so below, as within, so without. Let's look at this pattern in the ancient Egyptian story. Who knows the story? Osiris. Osiris represents the soul. He represents wisdom, balance, light. His brother Set kills him. Set represents the ego, chaos, darkness that tries to overpower the soul. Here you have the sun Set, a reflection of the cosmos within oneself. After Set kills Osiris, Isis, which is Osiris' wife, restores him. Isis represents the divine feminine, love, intuition, and healing. And from that restoration, Horus is born. But Horus isn't just a baby, the falcon. He's the resurrected light. And in Egypt, Horus was identified as Christ. Coincidentally, Horus' birthday was also celebrated on December the 25th, which is also at the beginning of the end of the winter solstice, and which is when the sun begins to rise again. You have more daylight now, more sun, soul, solar, more life. So we see it again. Something dies and something greater is born. If we look at Christianity, we see a similar story where Jesus goes on the cross. His physical body, his flesh, which represents human limitation, dies. And when that dies, there's a resurrection and Christ rises. It's not just about resurrection from the tomb, but a transformation of the soul. And just like Horus, there's the light within rising again, the Christ now. Now if you look at Hinduism, where this principle is baked into everything, you're going to see in the Hindu tradition you have the Trimurti, just like the Christian Godhead of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva represent creation, preservation, and destruction. Shiva, who is the misunderstood destroyer, destroys what no longer serves. He is the remover of the illusion. His dance, the Tandava, is literally the dance that ends one cycle so another cycle can begin. It's like the death of the ego, the death of that which is false, the false identity, pride, all this stuff we cling to. And once that dies, space is made for truth, for light, for that rebirth of the soul. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, which is Sanskrit, and you can hear phonetically the word in Greek, Christos, from where you get the word Christ, Krishna, Christos, Christ. Krishna, he tells Arjuna, who's in full emotional and moral crisis, you must let go of who you think you are. That version of you, that version that is paralyzed by fear, that is wrapped up in identity and attachment, it got to die. And only then can you step into your purpose. Only then can you fight the real battle, not out there, but in here. So across Egypt, Christianity, Hinduism, all diverse characters, different symbols, but the message is the same: sacrifice, death, transcendence. What does this mean for us? It means that the old version of you, that version that is clinging to fear, doubt, and false identity, must die. Your limited story must be laid to rest, because the essence of what you truly are, consciousness, light, that divinity, that darkness within, that light within, is waiting to rise. You are the Horus. You are the Christ. You are the awakened Arjuna. But that only happens after the death of the lesser self. So don't fear the death of an identity, a belief, or a limitation. It may just be the sacred doorway to your greatest resurrection. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but just let go. Let go of that pride, that fear, that ego, that doubt, that identity, and allow your true essence to resurrect. Have a fabulous day, okay?